Most people move through life reacting to the world rather than shaping it. They let awkward silences fester, they lose arguments they should have won, and they let anxiety dictate their social battery. But psychology isn't just about analyzing why you are the way you are. It is a toolkit for changing how the world responds to you. There are patterns in human behavior, glitches in the matrix that, when understood, act as hacks for social influence, emotional regulation, and immediate trust. This video covers every psychological hack that actually works in real life, stripped of the pseudoscience, and explained through behavioral psychology. If you want someone to like you, do not do a favor for them. Instead, ask them to do a favor for you. This is known as the Benjamin Franklin effect. Cognitive dissonance theory suggests that our brains cannot handle the conflict of disliking someone while simultaneously helping them. To resolve this tension, the brain rewrites the narrative: I am lending this person my book or buying them a coffee, therefore, I must like them. In a real-life setting, this works best with small low-effort requests. Ask a coworker to borrow a pen. Ask a stranger for the time. Ask an acquaintance for a small piece of advice. The act of investing in you, even microscopically, makes them subconsciously more invested in your success. You often freeze in social situations because you believe everyone is watching you. This is the spotlight effect, the egocentric bias that makes us overestimate how much people notice our appearance or mistakes. The hack here is the invisible cloak of indifference. Studies show that 50% of people will not notice a giant stain on your shirt, even if you interact with them directly. To weaponize this, when you feel social anxiety, deliberately do something slightly embarrassing. Drop a pen, stumble on a word. Watch as nothing happens. The world keeps turning. Once your brain realizes the audience isn't watching, your cortisol levels drop, and your charisma naturally increases because you are no longer performing. You are just existing. In any negotiation, whether asking for a raise or deciding where to eat dinner, the person who speaks less usually holds the power. We are socially conditioned to abhor silence. It feels like rejection. When you make an offer or ask a question, and the other person hesitates, your instinct is to fill that silence with a concession. I mean, we can do a lower price, or, I guess it doesn't have to be today. Stop. The hack is simple. Say your piece, and then shut up. Maintain eye contact. The silence creates a vacuum of pressure. The other person will rush to fill that vacuum, often by revealing information they intended to keep specific, or by agreeing to your terms just to end the tension. In psychology, this is utilizing the anxiety of ambiguity. People tend to rise or fall to the level of expectations placed upon them. This is the Pygmalion effect. If you treat someone like they are untrustworthy, they will unconsciously look for ways to hide things from you. If you treat someone like they are intelligent and capable, they will often work harder to validate that identity. Use this for leadership or relationships. Instead of criticizing a messy roommate, label them with the trait you want them to have. I really appreciate how organized you are with the kitchen lately. Even if they haven't been. The cognitive desire to be consistent with that positive label will drive them to actually clean the kitchen. You are assigning them a reputation to uphold. Eye contact is intense, but the type of eye contact changes the dynamic entirely. Psychologists have mapped gaze zones on the face. The social gaze, look at a triangle between their eyes and mouth. This is friendly and non-threatening. The power gaze, look at a triangle between their eyes and the center of their forehead. If you want to be taken seriously or stop someone from interrupting you, shift to the power gaze. It subconsciously signals dominance and reduces the other person's confidence to challenge you. Conversely, if you want to de-escalate a fight, drop your gaze to the social zone. It signals, I am not a threat, without you having to say a word. This is the opposite of the foot in the door technique. If you want a specific request granted, first ask for something much larger that you know will be refused. You want your friend to donate $20 to your charity. First, ask them to volunteer 10 hours of their weekend. They will say no. Immediately follow up with, okay, well, would you be willing to just donate $20 instead? The psychological principle here is reciprocal concession. Because you backed down from your big request, to a smaller one. The social contract demands they meet you halfway. The $20 seems trivial compared to the 10 hours, even though $20 was your goal all along. The sweetest sound to any person is their own name. This activates the reward centers of the brain. However, most people overuse this and sound like a used car salesman. The hack is to use their name only when you want to anchor a specific positive emotion or important point. Don't start every sentence with Dave. Instead, save it for the validation. That's a really insightful point, Dave. This ties the dopamine hit of hearing their name directly to your compliment. It conditions them to associate you with feeling seen and validated. People hate being told what to do. It triggers psychological reactance, a motivational state where people resist social influence to protect their sense of freedom. To bypass this, never give a command. Give two options that both lead to your desired outcome. To a toddler, do you want to put your shoes on now, or in 2 minutes? To a client, should we schedule the meeting for Tuesday morning or Thursday afternoon? They feel in control because they made a choice. You remain in control because you defined the parameters of that choice. Rapport is not built through interesting conversation. It is built through physical synchronization. When you are truly connected with someone, you naturally mirror their posture, gestures, and speech rate. You can reverse engineer this. If you are sitting across from someone stiff and defensive, subtly mirror their posture. If they lean back, you lean back. If they speak slowly, slow your cadence. This signals to their primal brain, I am like you, I am safe. Once you have established the mirror, you can then test the connection by shifting your body language to be more open. If they subconsciously follow you and uncross their arms, you have successfully led the interaction. If you are studying for an exam or preparing for a speech, your environment matters more than you think. Your brain encodes the environment alongside the information. If you study in a quiet room with a distinct smell like coffee, you will recall that information better if you are in a similar environment during the test. The hack: if you can't control the test environment, control your internal sensory input. Chew a specific flavor of gum while studying, and chew that same gum during the event. The taste acts as a retrieval cue, triggering the neural pathways associated with the material you learned. We procrastinate because the task feels too big, and our brain fears the energy expenditure. The Zeigarnik effect states that the human brain hates unfinished tasks. It will keep an open loop in your memory until the task is closed. The hack: commit to doing the task for exactly 2 minutes. Tell yourself you can quit after that. Once you start, the Zeigarnik effect kicks in. The task is now open, and your brain will feel more discomfort from stopping than from continuing. The hardest part of physics is overcoming static friction. Once you are in motion, kinetic friction is much easier to manage. Your body leads your mind. This is embodied cognition. If you sit in a slumped, defensive position, your brain accesses memories and emotions associated with defeat and sadness. If you stand in a high power pose, taking up space, hands on hips, chin up, your brain releases testosterone and lowers cortisol. Before a high-stakes interview or date, do not sit on your phone hunched over. Go to the bathroom and stand in a power pose for 2 minutes. You are literally biohacking your hormonal profile to feel more confident before the event begins. When you need to persuade someone, end your request with a specific phrase affirming their autonomy. I really think this strategy would work for you, but of course, you are free to do whatever you think is best. A meta-analysis of 42 studies on 22,000 participants showed that this specific phrase doubles the likelihood of compliance. By explicitly removing the pressure, you lower their defenses. Because they don't have to fight for their autonomy, they are free to actually consider the merit of your suggestion. Human memory is flawed. We remember the beginning of an event and the end of an event, but the middle gets blurred. If you are scheduling a job interview, never choose the middle slot. Try to be the first candidate of the day primacy effect or the last recency effect. If you are going on a date, the middle of the date can be average, but you must ensure the start is exciting and the end is high energy. The Peak-End Rule suggests that people judge an experience largely based on how they felt at its peak, the most intense point, and at its end. Plan your interactions accordingly. Anxiety and excitement are physiologically identical. Both involve a racing heart, sweaty palms, and high cortisol. The only difference is the narrative your brain tells. When you feel nervous, do not try to calm down. It is chemically impossible to go from high arousal panic to low arousal calm instantly. It is much easier to shift from high arousal panic to high arousal excitement. Say out loud, "I am excited." You are tricking your brain into interpreting the physical symptoms as readiness rather than fear. You aren't shaking because you're scared. You're shaking because your body is revving up the engine to perform. Perfectionism is a barrier to connection. We admire perfect people, but we don't like them. We find them intimidating and unrelatable. The Pratfall effect suggests that if a highly competent person makes a minor mistake, spills coffee, makes a bad joke, their likability goes up. It humanizes them. Note, this only works if you have already established competence. If you are incompetent and make a mistake, you just look worse. But if you are generally crushing it, allow yourself to be human. Vulnerability is a social superglue. If you need to learn a new skill or language, cramming is useless. The brain requires forgetting to occur in order to strengthen the memory pathway. This is the spaced repetition protocol. Review material at increasing intervals. 1 day, 3 days, 1 week, 1 month. The struggle to recall information that has slightly faded is what signals the brain to encode it into long-term storage. If it's too easy to remember, your brain marks it as temporary info. Make it hard, and you make it permanent. These hacks are not magic spells, they are levers. They work because the human brain is an evolutionary machine designed for survival, not for modern social nuance. It relies on shortcuts. When you understand the shortcuts, you stop being a passenger in your own interactions. You can de-escalate conflict, learn faster, and build deeper connections. The goal isn't to manipulate others, it's to optimize yourself.